Welcome to my channel Book Gyan. Today we will be reading this new book from John Boyne, The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas. So my goal is to read this whole book in 5 days. So let's start. I will upload video of one chapter, so stay tuned and please like, subscribe and share. So its first chapter is Bruno makes a discovery. So Bruno is a little kid. So let's start. And if you want its buy link, I will share it in description, and I will also post its online PDF link so you can read it from where do you want. So let's start. One afternoon, when Bruno came home from school, he was surprised to find Maria, the family's maid, who always kept her head bowed and never looked up from the carpet. Standing in his bedroom, pulling all his belongings out of the wardrobe and packing them in four large wooden crates. Even the thing he'd hidden at the back that belonged to him and were nobody else's business. "What are you doing?" he asked in as polite as tone as he could muster. For although he wasn't happy to come home and find someone going through his possessions, his mother has always told him that he was to treat Maria respectfully and not just imitate the way father spoke. "You take your hands off my things." Maria shook her head and pointed towards the staircase behind him. When Bruno's mother had just appeared, he was a tall woman with long red hair that she bundled into a sort of net behind her head, and she was twisting her hands together nervously as if there was something she didn't want to have to say or something she didn't want to have to believe. "Mother," said Bruno, marching towards her. "What's going on? Why is Maria going through my things?" "She is packing them," explained Mother. "Packing them?" he asked, running quickly through the events of the previous few days to consider whether he'd been particularly naughty or he had used those words out loud that he wasn't allowed to use, just like abusing out loud that he wasn't allowed to use and was being sent away because of it. He couldn't think of anything to. In fact, over the last few days, he had behaved in a perfectly decent manner to everyone and couldn't remember causing any chaos at all. "Why?" he asked. "Then what have I done?" Mother had walked into her own bedroom by then, but Lars, the butler, was in there packing her things too. She sighed and threw her hands in the air in frustration before marching back to the staircase, followed by Bruno, who wasn't going to let the matter drop without an explanation. "Mother," he insisted, "what's going on? Are we moving?" "Come downstairs with me," said Mother, leading the way towards the large dining room where the Fury had been to dinner the week before. "We'll talk down there." Bruno ran downstairs and even passed her out on the staircase so that he was waiting in the dining room when she arrived. He looked at her without saying anything for a moment and thought to himself that she couldn't have applied her makeup correctly that morning because the rims of the eyes were more red than usual, like his own after he'd been causing chaos and got into trouble and ended up crying. "Now you don't have to worry, Bruno," said Mother, sitting down in the chair where the beautiful blonde woman who had come to dinner with Fury had sat and waved at him. when father closed the door. In fact, if anything, it's going to be a great adventure. What is? He asked. Am I being sent away? No, not just you, she said, looking as if she might smile for a moment, but thinking better of it. We all are, your father and I, Greta and you. All four of us. Bruno thought about this and found he wasn't particularly bothered if Greta was being sent away because he was a hopeless case and caused nothing but trouble for him. But it seemed a little unfair that they all had to go with her. But what about her house? Asked Bruno. Who's going to take care of it while we are gone? Mother sighed and looked around the room as if she might never see it again. It was a very beautiful house and had 5 floors in total. If you included the basement where Cook made all the food and Maria and Lars sat at the table arguing with each other and calling each other names that you weren't supposed to use. And if the slanted windows where Bruno could see right across Berlin, if he stood up on his tiptoes and held onto the frame tightly, we have to close up the house for now, said Mother. But we'll come back to it someday. And what about Cook? Asked Bruno. And Lars? And Maria? Are they not going to live in it? They are coming with us, explained Mother. But upstairs and help Maria with your packaging. Bruno stood up from the seat but didn't go anywhere. There were just a few more questions he needed to put to her before he could allow the matter to be settled. And how far away is it? He asked. The new job, I mean, is it further than a mile away? Oh my, said Mother with a laugh, although it was a strange kind of laugh because she didn't look happy and she didn't look happy and turned away from Bruno as if she didn't want him to see her face. Yes, she said. It's more than a mile away. Quite a lot more than that. In fact, Bruno's eyes opened wide and his mouth made the shape of an O. He felt his arms stretching out at his sides like they did whenever something surprised him. You don't mean we're leaving Berlin? He asked, gasping for air as he got the words out. I am afraid so, Mother said, nodding her head sadly. Your father's job is. But what about school? Said Bruno, interrupting her. Things he knew he was not supposed to do, but which he felt he would be forgiven for on this occasion. And what about Carl and Daniel and Martin? How will they know where I am when we want to do things together? You'll have to say goodbye to your friends for the time being, said Mother. Although I'm sure you'll see them again in time. And don't interrupt your mother when she's talking, please. She added, for although this was strange and unpleasant news, there was certainly no need for Bruno to break the rules for politeness which he had been taught. Say goodbye to them, he asked, staring at her in surprise. Say goodbye to them, he repeated, spluttering out the words as if his mouth was full of biscuit that he munched into tiny pieces but not actually swallow. Yet, say goodbye to Carl and Daniel and Martin. He continued, his voice coming dangerously close to shouting, which was not allowed indoors. But they're my three best friends for life. Oh, you'll make their other friends, said Mother, waving her hands in the air dismissively, as if the making of boys three best friends for life was an easy thing. But we had plans, he protested. Plans? Asked Mother, raising an eyebrow. What, son? What sort of plans? Well, that would be telling, said Bruno, who could not reveal the exact nature of the plans, which included causing a lot of chaos, especially in a few weeks. Time when school finished for summer holidays and they didn't have to spend all their time just making plans but could actually put them into effect instead. I am sorry, Bruno's mother said, but your plans are just going to have to wait. We don't have a choice in this. But mother, Bruno, that's enough, she said, snapping at him now and standing up to him show him that she was serious when she said that was enough. That was enough. Honestly, only last week you were complaining about how much things have changed have recently. Well, I don't like the way we have to turn all the lights off at night now. He admitted. Everyone has to do that, said Mother. It keeps us safe. And who knows, maybe we'll be in less danger if we move away. Now, I need you to go upstairs and help Maria with your packaging. We don't have as much time to prepare as I would have liked. Thanks to some people, Bruno nodded and walked away sadly, knowing that some people was a grown up's word for father and one that he wasn't supposed to use himself. He made his way up the stairs slowly, folding into the banister with the with one hand and wondered whether the new house in the new place where the new job was would have as fine as banister to slide down as this one very top floor. Just outside the little room where if window tightly he could see right across Berlin to the ground floor. Just in front of the two enormous oak doors, and Bruno liked nothing better than to get on board the banister at the top floor and slide his way through the house, making whooshing sounds as he went. Down from the top floor to the next one, where mother and father's room was, and the large bathroom, and where he wasn't supposed to be in any case. Down in the next floor were his own room and Gretel's room too, and a smaller bathroom. He was supposed to use more often than he really did. Down to the ground floor where you fell off the end of the banister and had to land flat on your 2 feet or it was 5 points against you and you had to start fall over it again. The mansion was the best thing about his house that and the fact that grandfather and grandmother lived so nearby. And when he thought about that it made him wonder whether they were coming to the new job too and he assumed that they were because they could hardly be left behind. No one needed Gretel much because she was a hopeless case. It could be a lot easier if she stayed to look after house, but grandfather and grandmother, what about them? Well, that was an entirely different matter. Bruno went up the stairs slowly towards his room, but before going inside, he looked back down towards the ground floor and saw mother entering father's office, which faced the dining room and was out of bounds at all times and no exceptions. And he heard her speaking loudly to him until father spoke louder than mother could, and that put a stop to their conversation. Then the door of the office closed and Bruno couldn't hear anymore, so he thought it would be a good idea if he went back to his room and took over the packaging from Maria, because otherwise she might put all his belongings out of the wardrobe without any care or consideration. Even the things he'd hidden at the back that belonged to him and were nobody else's business. So this chapter overs. So I have read this time 11 pages, and in the next video I will upload in few hours will be chapter 2, the new house. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching this video.